awkward because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no fucking thing as karma, okay? Get over that.
But it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected. Yeah. So the term woke has been, in my view...
But you basically go after Trump and Biden, you know, both of them. And a lot of people are not happy with you about that.
Not equally.
Well, not equally, because you know that Trump is doing more dangerous.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody was more out front on that danger than I was. Mm-hmm. I was talking about how he was never going to give up power long ago when everybody was laughing at me and said, you smoke too much pot. And I said, I smoke just the right amount of pot. Because... Finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you fucked in the first place. Even the one concession I've heard a few people on the losing side offer, that liberals should stop saying the Trump voters are stupid, comes with a kind of unspoken parentheses. We know they are stupid, just don't say it. We are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
Once more, the king of chaos strikes. That renowned intermediary with a knack for leaving people perplexed. Their skulls simply ripped like a wrecking ball over the landscape. Indeed, he dropped Sunny Host's and Whoopi Goldberg's names like flaming bombs.
But it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and
migrate.
So why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want, because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left? But don't tell me the left
had... the super far right.
He's talking about the left.
Well, they're
okay,
not
but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a joke. But,
too dark.
Well, maybe it is.
Bill Maher went into full nasty mode on his most recent program, berating the so-called woke folk for again falling into the same trap. Nothing new was learnt, simply the standard procedure. Loud outcry, lack of self-awareness, and then going about business as if nothing had occurred. However, this time he was ruthless. This is where things start to go crazy. They immediately forgot that it was a joke. That degree of ignorance is insane. For example, when did people start being advised not to laugh at something that was obviously supposed to be funny? Common sense seems to have packed up and relocated to another galaxy. The stillness is the icing on the cake. Crickets could be heard. In front of millions of viewers, Maher mocked them live on television, and nobody on the panel could respond. Not a word, they were completely frozen. And let's face it, when the reality hits you so hard, what can you say?
At best.
Are you at all concerned about the innocent civilians that have been collectively punished and murdered, largely children and women? And are you at all concerned about the fact that the International Criminal Court just today issued a subpoena for Bibi Netanyahu?
Well, that's ridiculous, but it's a war.
Why?
It's a war. Because it's a war and they were attacked and they're defending themselves. Now, this is a war. Do you think Hamas needs to be destroyed? This is the question.
Yeah.
You do?
Yes. So how can
Okay,
we get
well,
out with a ceasefire?
All right, so Hamas needs to be destroyed because they are a terrorist organization who say openly that they want to commit genocide on the Jewish people, on the state of Israel. That's what from the river to the sea means, okay? And they say it very openly. They said, we did this attack. They've attacked Israel 5 times. They've started 5 wars since they were given that land back. They could have chosen to turn that place into any place they wanted to, and they took a lot of money that they took from the international community and they spent it on bombs and guns and building tunnels. So if they need to be destroyed, how do we do that? It's a war. I don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to do that. I assume the Israeli Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop that. Stop attacking Israel.
And stop calling for the annihilation of Israel and all the Jews. They're calling for the annihilation of the Jews.
Turning their backs on the very people they purport to support, the so-called awakened crowd forced itself into a corner and cheered for the opposing side. A complete identity crisis is unfolding in real time. And when Joy Bahar's mouth opened and she blurted out, "Joe Biden is doing good," it revealed everything.
But you basically go after Trump and Biden, both of them. And a lot of people are not happy with you about that.
Not equally.
Well, not equally, because you know that Trump is doing more dangerous.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody was more out front on that danger than I was. I was talking about how he was never going to give up power long ago when everybody was laughing at me and said, you smoke too much pot. And I said, I smoke just the right amount of pot. Because plainly, I was using the term slow-moving coup before he was elected the first time.
That's right.
I said, this guy is never going to concede power. It's impossible to imagine him going, oh, I lost.
Yeah, you can't do it.
That's just not in his nature.
So, but I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but...
Oh, I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence people who are on the fence?
I think you lose all credibility. I do. I mean, my bond with my audience has always been I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
Right.
That's. Yeah, okay. And look, Biden just presents as old. It's not really fair.
No.
Because he's almost the same age. Trump is almost the same age as him.
I know.
But Trump doesn't present that way. You look at somebody right away, you can kind of just sum them up. I mean, we are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
Well, here's what I said. Like, when I came back after the strike in September, I said, he should get out. Because he's just lost the faith of people. It's not fair. He's actually done a pretty good job. Yeah. But I said he's going to be Ruth Bader Biden. That's the term I used. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She stayed too long at the fair. Yeah. I remember Obama had her over to the White House, like in 2013, to hint, hey, spend more time with the grandkids. That would not be a good idea, Ruth. And she didn't take the hint, and she was not in good health, and she stayed too long, and she ruined her legacy and got the Supreme Court now to be.
I've spent the entire year looking for just one significant victory from Biden, and I haven't found anything. Which show is she watching, though? If anything positive is occurring, it's probably lurking like a needle in a mound of hay that nobody has yet discovered. The far left, meanwhile, continues to enlarge their mess. It's crazy how they hold a shovel in one hand and denial in the other. And simply watch this next clip if you believe I'm exaggerating. It tells it all. You're going to witness someone become really agitated over nothing at all. They behave as though their house was just set on fire, while in reality.
Finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you fucked in the first place. Even the one concession I've heard a few people on the losing side offer, that liberals should stop saying that Trump voters are stupid, comes with a kind of unspoken parentheses. We know they are stupid, just don't say it. Yeah, I got bad news for you. They don't have a monopoly on stupid. You wear Queers for Palestine t-shirts and masks 2 years after the pandemic ended. And you can't define woman, I mean person who menstruates. You're the teachers union education party and you've turned schools and colleges into a joke. You just lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person.
They don't like the fact or the joke. Every time, it's the same worn-out ritual. Over-the-top fake outrage causes theatrical gasps as if they were auditioning for a low-budget soap opera. But for a moment, let's be honest. In reality, they don't give a damn. Not about me, not about you, and not about anybody outside of their small, closed-off echo chamber of hashtags and groupthink. Additionally, they never want you to discover that out. The activity was at best half-baked, and the outrage created the empathy. Their main concern is keeping their supporters emotionally aroused and unaware of the actual game being played.
Become like a royal family that, because of so much incest, has unfortunately had children who are retarded. And the same thing can happen to ideas if they are also conceived in an atmosphere of intellectual incest. Maybe take the clothespins off your noses and actually converse with the other half of the country. Stop screaming at people to get with the program and instead make a program worth getting with.
This is when it becomes even more unsettling. Declaring the silent section aloud has become the trademark. And the far-left media has been the loudest when the mask is off. They no longer even pretend. The prejudice is directly in front of you. On Monday, they will say one thing. By Wednesday, flip it and pretend that you're the only one who noticed. At this point, the gaslighting is Olympic level. Voices like Bill Maher sound different now because of this. Whether you like him or not, he is taking a stand and confronting the madness. No tiptoeing, no sugarcoating, he's bringing the absurdity to light and challenging anyone to dispute with it. He's revealing the double standards, performance politics, and the way these individuals distort every story to support their current moral superiority. And let's take a moment to discuss the perspective because, gosh, the crew truly acts as though they had a divine compass that always directs them. They never pause to consider, wait, could we be mistaken here?
No.
Texted me things like, well, you know, you can't fix stupid. Sorry, that doesn't work with me. Yeah, you're stupid because you're not thinking about the bigger picture. You're not thinking about maybe we did something wrong. Maybe we're not perfect. You know, it's like a relationship. You got dumped. America dumped you, and they're all like, you don't know what you had.
No, it's
Yes, they do. They know what they had. And what they're saying is, we know what we had, and you're a mess.
It's a dude.
They interrupt guests, shut down dissent, and wrap everything up in this smug little box of self-righteousness. But pay attention because what Bill Maher said next wasn't just audacious. It was surgical. He targeted them precisely, stating the things that no one else in the mainstream media had the courage to say out. You will want to listen to every word of it. Now, I'm not advocating that we follow Bill Maher mindlessly either. Let's face it, he has had his share of outrageous opinions. However, when someone like him begins to pull back the curtain on live national television and reveal just how far the left has gone, you can bet that I'll be watching because it's obvious that nobody on that side is prepared to speak up and say, hey.
And PBS testified before Congress this week amid accusations of liberal bias. Should the government continue to send taxpayer dollars to public broadcasters? Well, a little background here. I mean, they've been after them the Republicans have wanted to get rid of PBS for as long as I can remember. This crowd will probably do it. I mean, I also read my namesake, Catherine Maher, was head of NPR, and you know, she said, we're completely unbiased. Give me a break, lady. I mean, they're crazy far left. So, I mean, I think we're past my view. We're past the age, really, where the government, first of all, why do we need to subsidize? Why can't we have outlets like this? And we're so polarized. These outlets became popular at a time when Republicans and Democrats didn't hate each other and weren't at each other's throats and didn't think each other was an existential threat. In that world, you can't have places like this, I think, anymore. They have to be private.
Perhaps we are the issue. They would sooner crash this train into a wall than acknowledge that they've been headed in the wrong direction. The left continues to veer farther and deeper into insanity every day. It resembles a slow-motion auto accident. You can't help but look even when you don't want to. They're not moving forward. Nothing is getting better, and many who formerly supported them are now quietly retreating. Even their ardent supporters are beginning to doubt the script. And let's take a moment to discuss the media, because their kingdom is beginning to fall apart before our very eyes. The same well-known media outlets who formerly had complete control over the narrative are now faltering due to their own inconsistencies. You cannot deny the importance of truth 1 minute and then deny the facts the next. People eventually realize, and believe me, this is the most absurd part. Remember when they were shouting at everyone about government funding cuts and saying things like, maybe it's time to rethink your model and create content that people want to see if your business can't survive without federal dollars? Yes, those were bold words in those days. Oh, then let's go on to the present. The irony is unimaginable, as they are now the ones who are most affected by that exact remark. Record numbers of people are tuning out of their media outlets, and their ratings are plummeting. It's more cringeworthy than poetic justice. They are now choking on their own plan after building an entire industry on cancel culture and outrage identity politics. When your entire business strategy revolves around being angry all the time, people gradually grow weary, begin to inquire, and eventually shut off. Once that happens, there's no turning back. Thus, it's not necessary to adore Bill Maher. If he's saying something that no one else on mainstream TV has the courage to say, I'm listening because at least he's calling it out. If this type of breakdown affects you the way it did me, do me a favor. You don't even have to agree with everything he says. Hit the like button. I promise you that this journey isn't going to slow down anytime soon. So please leave a comment with your thoughts and, of course, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next one. Things are going to get even more crazy.